Hi, I'm Paul from Studio One Expert. Today I'm going to be talking about preamps. Now mainly I'm going to be talking about 500 series preamps. About 3 or 4 years ago there was a big boom in the 500 series module market, and I fell into that trap as well, where I bought a API rack and I bought preamp after preamp, compressor after compressor and EQs. So I kept buying them and selling them, keeping the ones that I liked and selling the ones that I didn't. Now I've spent a lot of money on 500 series racks, so hopefully I can give you some advice on this. So about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I stopped buying 500 series racks because I found everything that I needed. And hopefully I can give you some advice on what to buy, what preamps to use for certain things, and I'm going to show you what I use for certain things as well. So let's get to it. So first of all, let's talk about the preamp furthest on the left, which is this one here, which is the Phoenix Audio DRS1R preamp. Now this was the first 500 series module that I bought, and well, it's held on the longest. It's amazing the amount that I've bought and sold over time, and I've always kept this one. It sounds like a 1073. It's that sort of preamp. It's got a transformer in it. It sounds a lot more vintage than the Rupert Neve one next to it. And what I mean by vintage, it's got more character, I should say, than the 511. It sounds absolutely brilliant. It's clean, but it's got character. The great thing about this as well, it's also got an amazing DI input, which I use for bass guitars if I'm ever doing DI bass. So I'll drive the bass straight into that, then that would link over to another compressor. I'll either plug it in over here to the Lindell audio, or I've got other external compressors which I'd patch it into. So I would use this preamp if I wanted something with a bit more of a weighty vocal, or I also use it, as I say, for DI bass guitars. It sounds absolutely brilliant. Now the one next to it is the Rupert Neve 511. This is one of the one of the newer designs, and it's great. The only thing that I really use this for is for percussion, and the reason I use it for percussion is because of this button down here, or this knob down here I should say, which is the silk mode. And what the silk mode does, it adds drive and texture into it, so you can get your shakers and tambourines to sound a lot more grainy, and they just sit in the mix so much better with this preamp. Now the one next to it is the Maag Pre-Q4, which is this one here. This is my go-to preamp. I use it for all vocals. If I'm doing especially female vocals, it sounds absolutely brilliant on. It's got the airband on it, and as you can see, I crank that right up here to +8, but I use it right in its top setting, which is 40 kilohertz. Now I'm a big fan of this preamp. It sounds, it's ultra clean. You can stack up vocals on it, and if you're like me, I do a lot of vocal productions where there's maybe 60 tracks of vocals. This still keeps all the vocals clean. You can stack them right up. Now next to that, I've got the Lindell Audio 7X500, which is a bit like an 1176. This is actually the cheapest compressor that I bought, and it's one of my favourites. I kept it because it's probably my favourite bass compressor. So for instance, if I plug the bass into the Phoenix Audio, I can then run it into the Lindell Audio 7X500, and it sounds absolutely brilliant. It's almost like straight out the box. It's almost mixed. It's brilliant. Now next to that, this one over here, I've got the Crane Song Falcon. Now the Crane Song Falcon is the best compressor that I've ever used, bar none. Now I love LA2As, and I've used LA2As on many occasions, and I compared it to the Falcon, and I still prefer the Falcon. The Falcon's brilliant. It's quite expensive for a 500 series rack, but it's well worth it. It's so versatile, and all my vocals go through it. It's absolutely brilliant. Highly recommended. Now next, I'll show you my last preamp that I've got down here, which is a Presonus Atl 700. Now this is a really fantastically built preamp. It was designed by Anthony DeMira, and if you know anything about Anthony DeMira, his products are absolutely mind-blowing. Now what I use this preamp for primarily is voiceover work. If there's anyone that comes in to do any voiceover stuff, or actually if I'm doing any of my videos, all of my videos, apart from this one actually, which is just going straight into the mic on the camera, always go through the ADL 700. Now you might ask why I don't use that for any vocalists that come in. Well, again, it's quite a thick sounding preamp. You can do a lot with it. It's got great EQ, high pass and low pass filters. The compressor's really good, but it's weighty. It's very thick sounding. So if you were doing a vocal where it was the only vocal in the track and it was quite a sparse track, I would use this hands down. It's thick, it sounds amazing. But for me, I don't do a lot of that sort of stuff, as I mainly do pop stuff. So that's why I always use the Maag. So I'm Paul from Studio One Expert. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.